The United Nations UN International Migrants Day is annually held on December 18 to recognize the efforts, contributions and rights of migrants worldwide. It recognizes the efforts, contributions and rights of migrants worldwide. Many organizations and communities celebrate the day through various activities to alert the general public with facts about migrants, problems with human trafficking, the lives of migrants, workers, children, the plight of refugees and ways to combat racism. With me in the studio to discuss this issue is a migration expert, Emmanuel Okonkwo. Many thanks to you for joining us on this hour. Now, when you look at the statement by the United Nations, which says that, look, the world is at a place of refugee or migrant emergency. We've also seen outright rejection of migrants by the US, Europe, Asia, and now even India with their recent citizenship bill. Yes. Why do we have that place of outright rejection of migrants?
I think it's just the time that we're in. There's a global spirit of there's a global spirit of nationalism all around the world. You've got that in South Africa, you've got that in America, you've got that in Europe. It seems to me that people are beginning to be more xenophobic in a sense. People fear of people who don't look like us. If you don't look like us, then we don't want you around us. So that's where we are at the moment.
But again, what concerted, I mean, we hear the United Nations talk about this a lot of times, but yes, what concerted efforts can be put in place to ensure that migrants are safe wherever they are, and at least they can also work and earn a living?
Well, there needs to be a global discussion around this, because migrants are human beings. They are human beings. But my perspective is that migrants they're coming from somewhere. And so my take on the matter is the home nations of people migrating should actually rise up and deal with issues that chase these migrants out from where they're coming from. And also we need to inform people, give them more information about migration. There is legal migration. Your lot in life is better when you migrate legally. It doesn't mean you don't have a problem if you migrate legally, but your problems are worse if you migrate illegally. And so the things that make people migrate illegally, we need to deal with those things. People crossing the Sahara to get to Europe, those kind of things. So once you turn into a country illegally, your rights are, you're in trouble, but then your rights are very limited.
But there are people who also migrate, maybe legally, but because of issues in their country. For example, people yes, are living in Yemen, people are living in Syria, and people are living, some parts of the Horn of Africa, just because of some of these, civil unrest, absolutely, human trafficking, issues, hunger and all. Yes. So what about those sets of people? It's not legal, but it's necessary. What can be done for those kind of people?
Well, again, that's where we have the United Nations. This needs to start from high up in the United Nations. There needs to be a compassionate view or a compassionate perspective to this. If you've got war in a country, and people also need to remember that places where we have war today may not be places that we're going to have war tomorrow. So one day you might be in the shoes of these folks who are running away. I mean, there's climate problems. So tomorrow there might be climate refugees, and some of these people who don't want folks in their country, it might be that there might be a climate problem in your country that can make you refugees. So I'm thinking that the whole world needs to come in and look at this climate thing, or look at this migration thing from a more compassionate perspective, because tomorrow it could be you could be a migrant tomorrow. Yes.
Many thanks to you, Emmanuel Okonkwo, for your time on this issue.